welcome to this webinar, which we have named the Office of Finance, the view from the top of the board, when spending the next hour together with Lars-Johan Jarnheimer. Welcome, Lars-Johan.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. I know when we had one of these pre-meetings a few weeks back, you said something about the crazier the CEO, the more important it is to have a competent and skilled CFO with both feet on the ground. And I did ask you what kind of category you were in. Are you the crazy one? What are you? And you said that you are the crazy one.
But what I meant then, based on my experience, I would say that, I mean, if you are a crazy CEO, I think everybody is equipped with one part of the brain for numeric reasons, and one part is for the creative one. And the more creative you are and the more marketing oriented you are, I think the best combination is then to have, even as the more squared you are as a CEO, the better it is in the combination.
Okay, right.
Do you see the Office of Finance as a back office function or as a strategic advisor to the business? What's your view?
I would say it's both. I think it tends to get more and more strategic, but I think there is also important that you don't miss out on these small nitty-gritty things. I think there is a tendency that the auditors and people in that industry gets a little bit too much, I would say, management consultants instead of what they are really there for.
Have you seen the role of finance need to change over time?
I think, if I go back 10, 15, 20 years back, normally the CFO or that part of the company was something which were hidden back in the office. And at the AGM, you dusted off the CFO and he made a speech. Today, I think it's more important to have a CFO which have, this possibility to be on stage. I think that's necessary today.
Companies having to have a sort of narrow, more quarterly focus because we're in a sort of short-term results-driven world. Do you think that kind of impedes to look at the long term? Do you think we lose focus on the long term as a result of the short term?
If you take it from the board perspective, I think you need to have a long-term view. At the same time, you need to dig into certain things from time to time, but don't forget the long-term vision. I think that is very important. There is a tendency, most of the boards are like parachutists. They get in there for a day, or they are reading the material, hopefully a day before, and then they have a board meeting of 5-6 hours, and that's very focused on certain things. And then they jump away, and then they get back 3 months, 4 months later. So I think you need to find a balance there between the long-term view and also, digging into certain things from time to time.
How do we move away from this kind of information overload? You alluded to it there with the 100-page pack that you need to look at the day before you go into a meeting.
Yeah, there is one correlation, which is the biggest correlation based on my experience. The worse the company performs, the bigger is the board pack. No exception. I have monthly reports, which in one company is 35 pages. In another company, it's 3 or 4 pages. And I can tell you, I get more updated on the 3 to 4 pages than these 20, 30.
In your experience, are organizations close enough to the numbers? Do they know kind of what is driving their profitability?
Both yes and no. I would say it's when you talk about KPIs, I think the first letter is the most important. If it's key performance indicator, then you should really have the key performance indicator. There is a tendency that you add on a lot of KPIs in the organization. So I think that is one recommendation. Take the respect for the K in the KPI.
How important do you think it is that people try and, on the one hand, underpin decisions with information and data, and on the other hand, rely on kind of experience and gut feel?
I think, I mean, everything starts with, of course, that the decision should be fact-based. I think that's even a bigger problem that in many organizations I meet, I say rumors or saying that this and that is the most important, but if you benchmark that with the facts available, you find a mismatch from time to time.
Often the numbers you need the most are the hardest ones to find. Do you have an example of that?
Yeah, not being too detailed, but I work with one big retailer, and to find out how many people work in each central office in each country, that should be, I would say, very easy. It took me a year to get all these figures. And I think it is, some key figures are a little bit hidden in the organization, which really makes sense.
And so do you have any, what about any top tips for aspiring leaders? So people looking to take the more or most senior roles in organizations? What would you advise?
I normally look on three things, and that's number one is speed. I think that's a disease in many companies, that you think you have a lot of time to solve and change your customer offering. That's not the case today. That's number one, time. Secondly, make sure that you have the right customer offering, because I recognize many companies who believe that the customer or the selling point is one thing, but in reality it's different. So make sure that you have the right, what we say, customer offering of your products. It's very often I see a discrepancy in what the company are trying to achieve and what the consumer are looking for.
Would you rather get a financial report with some errors on the 5th day, or would you prefer to wait for the 10th day and have it without errors?
I would rather have a report with some mistakes early, which then trigger you to see where you have the differences.
Many companies spend an enormous amount of time producing the budget and sort of getting your feel on whether you think that's valuable time or.
No, I think there are different industries. Or if you are in paper, pulp, and steel industry, of course, you need to have some kind of direction for your investments, etc. But if you take in the retail, etc., I don't think it ties up too much effort and time.
Do you have a thought on what's going to be the biggest challenge for the CFO after this calms down, if it ever does?
If you are in an omni-channel environment, will we see these changes continue, or will it slow down? I think it's hard to judge. And once again, I mean, you need to find out as quick as possible. The one who do it with the highest speed will be the winners.
Thank you, Lars-Johan. It was good meeting you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hope the customer enjoyed it too.
I'm sure they did. The ones to be. Anyway, everyone, have a good afternoon, and we hope to see you back soon again. Cheers.